Okay, folks, again, this is Doug Pinkham with Pinkham and Associates in Orange County, California, but this video is going to help anybody that's trying to fill out the FL341C. This is the form that you'll use to make orders for holidays and special events. It's called the Children's Holiday Schedule Attachment, FL341C. Okay, so at the very top of this schedule, it says to, and it may be an attachment to a petition. It may be an attachment to a response. It could be attachment to a request for order if you're asking for orders with regard to a holiday schedule. Very likely, if you're watching this video on my set of videos, you're probably attaching this to a request for holidays, or a request for orders for holidays in an RFO, a request for orders, or you're attaching this to a judgment or an order after hearing. So, and that's where it applies also. So mark the appropriate box at the top of this form to whatever you're attaching this form to. And then let's move down to the meat of this form. And that is the actual holidays. All right, so this form is not good. In my opinion, it's a horrible form because it does not provide enough space to do what we really want to do. And it doesn't really break the holidays down the way I'd like to see them broken down. But if you look to the left, it will give you the name of most of the holidays. Now, listen, folks, this is the other thing, too. I'm going to say this as a preference. Don't mark every single one of these, because really, in reality, are you really going to celebrate, Columbus Day? Is it really a big enough day in your life that you want the court to make orders for Columbus Day? If you say yes, I want you to check your motives. If Columbus Day really is a huge day for you for some other reason, awesome. If you've got a good, legitimate reason why Columbus Day is a big deal to you, then mark it down here and be prepared to explain that to a judge, because the judge is going to ask. Father's birthday makes sense. Father's Day, absolutely. Mother's Day, absolutely. Set a schedule for mother to have children on Mother's Day. If you don't, you'll look like a monster. First half of spring break, second half of spring break, first half of Christmas week, second half of Christmas week. That's fine. You definitely want to mark those down. Now, here's the key. The way this works, and let's take one, and it applies to all of them, but let's take, for example, let's say you're a boater and you want Memorial Day weekend. That's a big day for if you're a boater and you want to take the kidders on the boat and you're going to Havasu or something. That's a big deal. It's a big weekend. So for Memorial Day, you might want to say that it's from Memorial Day would be Monday off. So, but let's say it's from Friday after school until, and this is, let's say dad's a boater, mom's not a boater. So let's say this is really important to dad but not important to mom. So let's say that dad is the respondent and dad's going to get Memorial Day every year. So we're going to put dad as the respondent, or you can even put father in there. But respondent will have every year. You notice that's the column for every year. So respondent has every year. And we've got, let me back up because it says Friday after school until, and here's the problem, you don't have enough room for all this. Until, Monday at 8 p.m. or something. So you need to write this in, and you need to figure out a way to write this in. You can see at the top, it says that all holidays start at some certain time and end at some certain time. This is a horrible form because you're likely not going to have every single holiday start at the exact same time and end at the exact same time. So that column doesn't really work. So you need to be very specific in here. It's it's Friday after school until Sunday at 8 p.m. Or let's say, for example, 4th of July. Keep in mind, for 4th of July, fireworks don't even start until it gets dark. And for example, here in California, that's daylight savings time. It's in the middle of the summer, so it's not getting dark until 8:30 at night. So fireworks aren't going to start until 8:30 or 9. When is the fireworks show going to get done if you go to a fireworks show? 10? So do you want to put 4th of July orders that go from, after school or from 8 in the morning until 8 o'clock at night? No, because you're going to end the child's visitation before the fireworks show even starts. So just be cognizant of that. Labor Day, also another boating day or a long weekend, that kind of thing. Mother's Day, you can put that could easily be 8 a.m. Oops, let me get that. 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. or whatever you want, and that would be with the petitioner or whoever the respondent is. You can put mother there again. Like I said, you can put mother there, but let's say mother's the petitioner, and that's under the every year column. Anyway, I'm just giving you examples. Summer break. I mean, give me a break. You're going to explain the entire summer break and how you're going to do the summer break schedule in a box that's this big? No. So let me give you a tip. You can say see attachment. On all of these, you could say see attachment. I want you to use this form because it lists all the holidays that will likely be important to you. And by the way, if there are other holidays that are important to you, then you should list them on an attachment and just put at the top, put like FL341C attachment. And it could be a plain white piece of paper or whatever, and then list other holidays. The Chinese New Year may be very, very important. The Lunar New Year may be very, very important to you and your family. You're going to name that, and you're going to want to mark it. Hanukkah, actually, I think that's named here. But if not, you can name that, and you can list how you want that schedule to work. Be very detailed. Be very detailed. If you don't have first day of Hanukkah, 8 a.m. until, the fourth day of Hanukkah at, sundown, then how is that going to be enforced if you don't have details like that? So if you want an order and you want it to be enforceable 3 years from now when you guys aren't getting along anymore, make sure it's very, very detailed. So I realize I haven't filled this thing out completely or even in great detail, but I think I've given you the details that you need to understand this form. And again, if you can't fit it in here cleanly and completely, put it on an attachment. Put it on an attachment. List it on an attachment and be very specific. Page 2, top of page 2 lists the petitioner's name, the respondent's name, and again, the case number. And this is a good section. They finally added this not too long ago. This is another section for other holidays. So this is where you can list Hanukkah. This is where you could list the Lunar New Year. This could be listing wherever you want to put whatever you want to put. If you want to specify Christmas Eve goes to petitioner every year because they celebrate Christmas Eve and Christmas Day every year to the respondent, that's fine. You can do that here. Let me warn you of something that people often don't think of. Standard non-religious Christmas Day. Keep in mind, kidders, Christmas to little kids is going to sleep at night and anticipating Christmas, anticipating presents under the tree, waking up bright and early in the morning and running out to the tree and seeing their presents, and then waking their parents up at 5 in the morning or whatever it is, and then running to the living room and opening presents. That's Christmas for little kids. Christmas for little kids is done at noon on Christmas Day. So at Christmas Day, they're playing with their toys, they're playing with their cousins or whatever it might be. But Christmas and the heavy, beautiful, excitement portion of Christmas is over. So if you're the one that's got Christmas Day at noon until the 26th at noon every year, keep in mind you're missing the magic of Christmas with your kids every year. Just a warning. Just keep that in mind. So it might be an idea to switch off Christmas Eve at noon to Christmas Day at noon, or Christmas Eve at 9 or 10 in the morning until Christmas Day at 9 or 10 in the morning, whatever you do. And then at 10 in the morning on Christmas Day until 10 a.m. on the 26th. And then in alternate years, in even-numbered years, Mother will have Christmas Eve, and in odd-numbered years, Father will have Christmas Eve. So those are things that you can write in and keep in mind. Okay, another little note, keep in mind that splitting up Thanksgiving, how are you going to split up Thanksgiving? Are you going to split up just the holiday, where one party has from 8 in the morning until 1 in the afternoon, and then the other party has from 1 in the afternoon until 6 at night or something like that? You can do that, or you could split the entire weekend, where from Thursday until Sunday goes to one parent, and then in the alternate year goes to the other parent. These days, children are getting school or off of school that entire week. Are you going to do the entire week one year with one parent and the next year with the other parent? There's a bunch of ways to divide Thanksgiving. Keep those in mind when you're discussing it or when you're trying to prepare this, and spell it out in great detail. Noted below in this box, it talks about 3-day holidays. So a standard, if you don't mention who's going to get Labor Day or Memorial Day or Christmas or President's Day or Lincoln's birthday or whatever it is, if you don't specify those 3-day holidays, the standard law, if you mark this box also, would be that that Monday holiday is automatically attached to the person that has, the parent that has that weekend. So keep that in mind. All right, and then on the bottom of this form, it goes on to vacations. So this will give you an order for vacation time. So let's say, for example, both parties, we're going to mark petitioner and respondent. It would be rare for only one of you to get a holiday. May take vacation with children up to, let's say, 7 days or 14 days, 2 weeks. You can specify it any way you want. Let's say twice a year, twice per year, and it doesn't specify when. But it does say must notify the other party within, and let's say it's 45 days in advance of any scheduled holiday that you want to take, or vacation you want to take. The other parent, let's say the other parent has 10 days to respond. If there's a problem with that visitation schedule, then this is the next very important thing. If the parties cannot agree on vacation plans, let's say, for example, mom plans to take let's go back to dad in Florida. So dad plans to take his kids to Florida to visit his family in Florida, and 50 days in advance, so it's more than 45 days, gives mom the itinerary and the phone numbers and everything else and says we're going to Florida. Then mom says nope, don't agree to that or whatever. Then this is where this section comes into play. A, the parents must confer to try to resolve the disagreement before filing for any court hearing. Or you can mark, and this is a good one, in even-numbered years, the parties will follow the suggestions of the petitioner. So in other words, in odd-numbered years, the petitioner's choice of holiday schedules, vacation schedules applies. And in even-numbered years, you can mark here that the respondent's vacation schedule applies. So in odd-numbered years, if you mark these appropriately, in 1 year, in even-numbered years or odd-numbered years, whatever you choose, one party takes their choice has precedence. They get to choose when that's going to be. The other parent can have vacations too. It just can't conflict with the vacations that the first parent has. Now, also keep in mind, if they haven't given 45 days notice, The other parent can take a vacation during that period. No big deal. It's just after they give notice and it's appropriate amount of time and it's their year of preference, don't plan something on top of their vacation because theirs is going to take precedence. Okay, so that's what this section means. And D is if there's some other kind of provision or any other kind of information, you can put it under D. There's not much room there, and I can't really think of anything else would apply, but if it does, that's what that other section's for. C says this vacation may be outside the state of California. So, again, if there's not a concern and or you know that the other parent's going to visit, family in, Tucson, you can mark C because you know that it's going to take place outside the state. D, any vacation outside of California or the United States, you can mark whichever box applies, requires prior written consent of the other parent or a court order. So this isn't one of those cases where you're nervous about the other parent or they could be nervous about you taking the children out of the state of California. If that's true, and if these are marked, let's say California's marked, you cannot take vacations outside the state of California unless you get written consent from the other parent, which means they're in control of your vacation, or requires a court order. So that's an ugly box. If you're going to mark D, that's an ugly one. Be careful about that box. Of course, if a judge orders it, you got no choice, mark it. And then again, E is other. If there's some other provision with regard to vacations, this is where you'd put it. If there's not enough room to put it in there, just take another sheet of paper, a single sheet of paper. At the top of it, write 341, FL 341C attachment, and then you can spell out all you want. You got all the room in the world to spell out whatever you want. All right, folks, that is the complete Children's Holiday Schedule Attachment. It's a very helpful form, although it's a horribly designed form, and I do apologize about that. You're likely to need an attachment page to explain this stuff in more detail, but I'm here to tell you, and I'm going to warn you again, and I'm going to advise you again. Be very detailed about the beginning of visits and the end of visits for holidays and vacations, because you want to be able to enforce them when you're about to go on these holidays or vacations. All right, folks. Again, my name is Doug Pinkham with Pinkham & Associates. That was the FL 341C, the holiday schedule. I hope this video was very helpful. Thank you very much.